Welcome back to the next game of the Spin to Win Cup, or what we call the Spin to Win Cup. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but first let's introduce the players in our best of 3 series. Over on the left we got Team Space on our first map with Amphora on Zul. We have Primordial King on Stitches, Echo on Junkrat, Fox is playing Uther, and Quibi on Vala with an arrow build on Cursed Hollow. Whereas over on the right side, a team that we're already familiar with, the Honkers, with Jacqueline on Samuro in red, Lemons on Muradin, we got Parkwash on Brightwing, Kati on Abatha, and Twisty is playing Li Ming. So to go over this real quickly, the tournament has some special rules. This is an amateur tournament that is hosted by heroeslounge.gg. The question came up a couple of times where exactly you can sign up for tournaments like this. Now obviously there's the tournaments that we ourselves host here on Khaldor TV, and for those normally you can go to my Discord. The Discord link is to be found in the description of the YouTube video if you're watching it there right now. But when we're talking about the amateur scene, not only the regular league but also some of the tournaments that they occasionally host, you can go to heroeslounge.gg, and the good thing is that you can sign up as an individual player, so you don't need to have a full 5-man stack for any of these, and that's actually for a lot of people pretty appealing, because it can be kind of tough to get 5 people together, you know, that have the same schedule and can make all of that happen. So if you are not amongst those for who that is possible, you can go to heroeslounge.gg, sign up for some of these events when they happen. Now the tournament here is a little bit special in the sense that they have also a mechanic that is intended to make the drafts a little bit more interesting, and it's the reason why I actually kind of dubbed this the Spin to Win Cup, which is not the official name. But you have 5 wheels from which, with an RNG system, the heroes that you play are chosen. So from 5 different categories for the roles that are being played here. And that kind of impacts obviously what you're going to get, and you will find some players that play on a hero that they're super familiar with, and then occasionally there's a player that will land on a hero that he's not quite as well versed in. That gives a bit of an interesting appeal to the tournament itself. The entire tournament is broken down into groups, and then the best teams out of all of these groups are advancing to a bracket system, and currently we're still in the group stage of the tournament. So this is Group A. We already had our first game with the Honkers there, and they are now playing again, trying of course to rise to the top of the group to make it out there. Interesting in particular is the Abatha and Samuro combo that they were able to grab for themselves here. Because especially in the late game, when you're playing with Abatha and Samuro, you can do quite a lot of nasty things. It's really annoying to keep track of that as the opposing team. If you don't know how to properly react to this, you can lose structures within seconds. So there's definitely a chance for that to happen later. They of course have also a bit of single target damage here with Li Ming, and the chance to kind of snowball through those team fights with the reset mechanics she gets whenever a kill comes through. Then on the blue team side, interesting approach to actually go with Vala into an arrow build here. That's not what you typically see on a map like Cursed Hollow. It can be quite nice though if you're willing to spec into Monster Hunter on level 7 when you're trying to sneak those bosses. With a double boss on the map, there is at least the potential to try and apply map pressure that way. If that's the idea here or not, we'll see. The fights around the tributes obviously are also taking place a part of wave, of any minion wave that could interfere. So you're going to get a lot of value out of your arrow if you land them there. Always assuming, of course, that Quibi is going to be able to get decent stacks out of all of that, and time will tell. But right now the first tribute is up and the players are starting to come in for this. Red team, obviously, they have to rely on Abatha. Nobody's so happening in the top lane right now, but could still move out there in order to do that. Down here, on the other hand, Muradin makes it out as Li Ming is taking aim with one volley after another. Stitches maybe a little bit too far to the front, but the arrow of Muradin misses, so he's still kind of safe. And Samuro is also just chunking away here. But the blue team is definitely starting to lose some HP here, and there's a lot of pressure on Uther to try and mitigate all that damage, but he's getting rather low on mana. So as the red team is already tapping the fountain, they might be able to win that kind of 4 versus 5. Abatha now assisting in the middle as that camp has been taken by Team Space a bit early. I like the timing of that. Definitely well done to apply additional pressure in the mid lane. Abatha doing his best to deal with it. But down here, yeah, Brightwing still assisting. In comes Samuro once more, but that could become a problem. They tried to take him down here and focus fire, but that didn't really work out either. So we have a bit of a fierce battle happening with level 7 kicking in slightly earlier for the blue team, which of course gives them a talent advantage now. With Zul, they also have a lot of wave clear. I actually would have liked them to stay here a bit longer and Zul just rotate between the mid and the top lane. Applying that pressure with the wave clear that he has would have been pretty difficult for the Honkers to deal with. Instead, they are focusing all their efforts on getting that tribute. And with Li Ming now going down, they might be able to grab that. But I still think that Amphora could have done a lot and applied real pressure against an opponent that doesn't even have 5 bodies in the game now, since Abathur obviously doesn't have his ult yet. With level 7 talents kicking in, we indeed get, by the way, Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter is in. That gives the ability later on to burn down the boss a bit quicker and play around that. We have Calamity for Li Ming, Skullcracker for Muradin, and talking Muradin, the hook hits, but he is able to get away here. Samuro is starting to apply the pressure at the top lane. Now Zul has currently taken position in the middle, but that rotation that I called out a bit earlier is now happening. And the wall here has already been destroyed. So with only 1 kill to the name, Team Space has already taken a bit of a lead. Yes, only kill that has happened so far in the game. And they're taking down structures at the bottom of the map as well. Samuro is able to at least do some damage up at the top, but might need a bit of an assist from Abathur. Comes a bit too late to turn the fight around. Nice tribute spawn position also for the blue team. That should guarantee them a second one, especially since Abathur should not be able to get level 10 in that small time frame that they still have here. I don't even think that they're going to have to do anything, since the red team is not even positioning for it, so they're apparently not interested in taking that fight. They know the position is pretty bad for them. 17 stacks for Vala, so the bosses are now on the map. And we'll see what she can do here. Currently we have her soloing the Siege Giants at the top. That's obviously where Monster Hunter also comes in quite handy. But with level 10, the dynamic might change. Nice Stormbolt connect against Zul. But they can't body block him enough to get Li Ming into the mix and get that combo connected, or it could have been the end of them. So Zul has to tap out, but they are already going for the boss, and that's exactly what I said earlier. With Monster Hunter, they're making the play here. We don't have any Abathur toxic nests in the vicinity, so they're not realizing what's going on here. They have absolutely no idea, which means that this is the free boss for Team Space. They hit level 10 just as the opponent does, and now of course the potential play for the curse at the top, and also a double boss play. So they have some options now. Since the red team have to decide what they want to do here. Do they react to the boss at the bottom of the map? Or do they just say, well, we are going to take the hit at the bottom fort? Abathur, by the way, with Monty! Monstrosity play in game number 1 of the best of 3 series. Okay, this is gonna get a bit wild. And that's the kill, isn't it? Yep. Down goes Samuro, he's gone. The fort at the bottom of the map is under assault by the boss that was taken earlier and will likely fall here, considering that the minion wave is now also going to help out. And of course, with this being a 4 versus 5, they're going for the tribute. When it comes to heroic abilities, by the way, we have a couple of options now that they went for. I called out Monty already, but just take a look at what Junkrat took here. Junkrat went straight into Rocket Ride, and we have Divine Storm for Uther. It's no Divine Shield here, trying to add the additional stun, which can be helpful after a Gorge from Stitches. But with the curse hitting hard, the bottom fort has already been eliminated. The one at the top is getting attacked quickly, and this is likely going to fall as well. They didn't even bother with the boss. They can go for the fort first and then retreat. Abathur is trying to move this up. That's a very optimistic Abathur player. I like the optimism. This is a glass half full guy, 100%. There's 4 heroes around the fort, and he just says, I got this. Drops the mule right into their face just before the fort falls. So yes, very optimistic play here by the Slug, but I like it. Down at the bottom of the map, Monty, skin and everything. Didn't even realize that on Abathur earlier. So Monty has been trying to defend against the boss. They're trying to go for another one here, and the only question is, can the red team somehow steal this away? Here comes the Blade Storm. Junkrat with a Rocket Ride, trying to zone them out in the back, and does hit nothing, but gets the free trip home as he was being attacked. Blue team gets the boss regardless, but they lose Vala now in the process. Potential counter kill, but it doesn't seem like Team Space is going to be able to pull that off. Instead, we got the Honkers on their way to a second kill. Yes, the Stormbolt connects, and Stitches is gone. Stitches is eliminated. Junkrat gets attacked too. Wave of Force being used, and with the resets from earlier, Li Ming gets a second kill. kills Stitches, takes Junkrat down. Now obviously they have to rush to the top in order to defend here. And let's be honest, that first curse has hit hard. That's 3 forts eliminated in game number 1. It's not really a kill-heavy game with 10 minutes in roughly and with 5 kills in total. The blue team is now more interested of getting more pressure onto the lanes by going for some of the mercenary camps here. Valeera has moved towards the siege giants and is taking those with ease, of course, thanks to Monster Hunter. There's a lot of pressure against the red team in general. They need to try and recover from this, at least in experience. They are not far off. They're actually even a little bit ahead right now. That will, of course, change because the passive experience gains that the blue team is now getting after they destroyed multiple structures is definitely in their favor. It's really the hero experience and also the minion XP where the Honkers are currently excelling and pulling ahead a little bit. But as time goes on, the red team will fall farther behind if they don't do anything about this. They haven't destroyed a single fort yet on the opponent's side, so that's definitely a bit of a problem. Hook's still coming out over here. XP from Zul, 10,000, and he already committed to all of this. I'm still waiting for Abatha getting some monstrosity value. I might have to wait for a long time, but it would be kind of nice. Now up at the top, Zul is already pushing. And here in the middle, we saw a bit of poke happening. So far, we've only seen 3 tributes, and all 3 of them went over to the blue team. We're having also Siphoning Arrow now, so really a full commitment to the build. I wonder what's happening on level 16. If you're still going to get Manticore, which is normally what you will still take with Valeera, even if you go into a multi-shot or an arrow build. So, yeah. Abatha now, with the Soma Transference, is definitely going to help out Samuro. This is one of the things that I'm really curious about, if Samuro can make the difference in the later stages of the game. Muradin is, of course, always happy to get an Abatha head as well. But Samuro can take structures down pretty easily. The problem for me is really that Abatha didn't take the copy. With Samuro, you kind of want to go copy and then make the play here. Li Ming is down, but... Oh! The hook! No way! The play by Stitches, allowing Valeera to live a moment longer, and that allows Uther to get a heal through. Well done. That heal would not have happened without Stitches hooking the biggest threat, so well played. Boss is coming up next. We have Li Ming eliminated. That's the main source of damage currently on the side of the Honkers. So that's of course an immediate move by the blue team over to the boss, trying to take that one out. And yep, that is looking pretty decent. They're going to get more pressure to the bottom of the map. Abatha is attempting to at least apply some at the top with the monstrosity. And look at that! Actually controlling it, moving it back a little bit. Now you can argue that he's spending too much time on the monstrosity, but if I compare that with some of the plays that we have recently seen in the very, very few monstrosity games that we've had in the Bounty Cup tournaments, as that was a bounty, then I love that there is at least some attention that monstrosity gets right now. So some Monty love is always nice. 16 on both sides. At least when we're talking about levels, they are insanely close. I mean, really, really close here. But it's the structural damage that's the biggest difference. Now, you have Abatha, you can mule things up. That will make a difference at the bottom to keep. So far, the ports have been destroyed. But why I really, really still think that it's a bit of a problem that Abatha hasn't gone for the copy. You could have unleashed so much more synergy with Samuro. I would love to see them at least play around Samuro and Abatha a little bit more to get damage on those structures. Currently, Jacqueline is mainly laning and also trying to participate in these fights. But it would be kind of sweet if they would do something like that. Now, obviously, if you're going on level 10, then also for Bladestorm, it limits your options with the just global control a little bit more even. But we have now 1 tribute for the blue team. That's the 4th in a row that they got. And here's more pressure to them. There's maybe now a chance to try and get a second one. The red team, of course, wants to fight for this. A little bit of action here in the middle too, since Stitches is currently cut off the rest of the team. But the storm from Uther locks Muradin down, and that's a kill. Muradin is gone. That's the tank eliminated. And the red team is also losing Brightwing. So the Fruit Fly has been eliminated. Trashwing is destroyed. And that's another tribute that Junkrat can channel. And to make matters worse, yep, that boss is up and taken. And with this being a 3 versus 5, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that the Honkers can do about this. Team Space is gonna lock in another boss at the top lane. We're now 14 minutes into the game, so the chance to do decent damage at the top side keep. Bottom is attacked by a minion wave, and they might even get a staggered kill. No kill against Samuro, but this is still damage that Abathur will somehow have to deal with. So there's a lot of pressure on the bot lane. And on the top lane, that's 50% of the hit points already gone on the keep, so if the blue team would rotate around, they could take aim for that too, but they're obviously with the boss trying to push the top lane out first. Oh, yeah, that one hurts as well if that tribute is taken. Now, Vala sitting in the middle right now, we talked a little bit about her choices, and she went into Manticore, so traditional level 16 talent for her. They are. I mean, I really kind of want to commit commit a little bit either to the top or the bot lane keep. Now that they're going for Muradin again, I mean that hook was glorious. They are able to take Lemon down. With Muradin gone, you're gonna get that curse, and then you really have to take some keeps down. You're pinning the opponent down right now. There's damage on 2 keeps. You get the curse, and if you don't win the game here, then you at least have to take 2 of the keeps out. But of course. Priorities, baby. There's a mercenary camp up on the map, and we gotta get it. So, they're trying to go through the middle, apparently. I mean, yeah, they're going for all 3 lanes at once. And they get another kill! Samuro dies! That's 7 kills to 4 now. Team Space with some real nice damage here. And this is honestly where the game is more or less on lockdown. Abathur again with a mule down at the bottom of the map, but they will still lose multiple keeps here, if not the game. Very, very nice start into the best of 3 series for Team Space here at the Spin to Win Cup. 1 keep already gone, the one on the top lane is consistently losing hit points and will fall too. At the bottom of the map, the minions are doing the work as well, and this just seems like a done deal, especially with Storm Talents now in 2. We have Uther actually upgrading his Divine Storm into the Divine Hurricane, and Vala now has Acrobat, the core already falling, and that's going to be the lead. Team Space takes the 1-0 in the best of 3, as we're moving on to map number 2 of this series here at the Spin to Win Cup, and the Honkers have to show now that they're able to bring this back and force game number 3, or they will lose another series. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Game number 2 in the series. We have Team Space in the lead. And now, of course, again, look at that lineup. Look at these lineups. They're beautiful. So again, the RNG factor of the Spin to Win Cup, they're amazing. The slots are determined by RNG, by spinning a wheel essentially. We have for the blue team Amphora on Ragnaros, Primordial King. After Stitches, he's now playing Valeera. Fox on Malfurion. Eco is playing Phoenix, and we have Quibi on Anub'arak. So from Vala over into Anub, there's a lot happening. Role swaps, people need to play heroes that they're familiar with. It's kind of funny. For the Honkers, as they're trying to force game number 3, we have Jacqueline on Cassia with Impale on level 1, Lemon on Varian, Cardi on Alexstrasza, we got Parkwash on Tacita, and Twisties with Gazlowe. Give him the clumps. I like that. Personally, this is a tournament format or an approach to trying and, you know, randomizing things a little bit that I, with my own tournaments, would probably not go for. But I really like some of the compositions that we're getting here. I mean, essentially, for the last year or so, every single tournament that you've seen had some kind of mechanic implemented that incentivizes teams to think a little bit outside of the box and play heroes that might not always be the same. We had the Bounty Cup where there is a monetary incentive, nobody's forced to do it, but you're incentivized to play heroes or certain abilities. Then of course we have Meta Madness and formats that are similar to that, that start limiting the hero pool and therefore force your hand to an extent. Now here we have a pure RNG element, which is putting a lot more strain on the players and their pool, I suppose, but it also produces some pretty interesting results here. Ragnaros and Valeera, for example, that's kind of wild. And then you have, on the other hand, you have Gazlowe here, together with Varian, who very likely is going to go into Taunt here. I mean, anything else would shock me. There's obviously this persistent meme that some people are not familiar yet with Taunt just being by far, not even close, the strongest ability for Varian as a tank. But I just can't see him do anything else but that. Taunt it up, get some of the damage connected with Tassadar, for example, and just make your play around that. Valeera will be interesting though. I also want to see what Ragnaros takes on level 10, because with the stuns that we have, so Thora Smash might be the one to get you a quick kill, but you could also try and control the map in a macro game with a lava wave. Oh, Tassadar going down early though, so the Honkers already right at the beginning of the game in a bit of trouble here. Are they going to lose more than one? They might actually... What a stun! But no follow-up. No trust in the tank. Do you see that? Nobody trusted. Quibi came in and said, I got this. And everybody, yeah, just dismissed it. Nobody believed. They just moved away. And the result was that they just couldn't do anything. So, we got Taunt as expected. We have also the Meatball build for Ragnaros. So, Relentless Strikes for Valeera. And she is currently at the bottom of the map, apparently just trying to get a bit of experience. She was thinking about hearthing back in order to top herself off, but I think we're gonna look at a pretty dead hero now. Stayed a bit too long, way too low in hit points, and yep, Valeera is definitely going to die here. There's absolutely no way you're gonna get past Varian with this, that's just not happening. Valeera goes down, bit off a little bit more than she could chew. And that is kill number 2 for Team Space, and the first one that we just saw for the Savage Honkers. Now, with the first objective up, question on Aldrich Pass, of course, when are the teams deciding to really go for it? Normally you will see teams at least wait until level 7, sometimes until level 10 before they make an honest attempt of locking the camp in and unleashing the objective. Everybody is still focused very heavily on the camp in the middle of the map, which obviously makes perfect sense in all of this. So currently the red team has to be a little bit more aggressive. Game number 1, again, it just really felt that with Abathur they weren't really able to leverage Abathur and Sonora in the first game, and their team fights didn't go their way either. We had a couple of really nice hooks from Stitches too that made it extremely difficult for them. So now you have to bring it back somehow. And already they are trying, but with them now losing Cassia, that's the 3rd death on their side. So things are not really looking too great for the Honkers at this point. We're having the blue team trying to just push the agenda a little bit further now that they have that momentum here. So they're going for the first objective. Cassia is coming back, the death timers are low. So still a chance for the red team to try and come in here and push this back. And they are going to do exactly that. So they're moving in with the entire 5-man. There's nobody sitting anywhere else on lane. They want the kill. They go for Nuburak. Might even get it. Quibi is a bit low. Taunt has already been used though, but there's the wall. There's the electric fence. And barely Phoenix is able to make his way out of that trap that they set for him. But of course, there's only 7.5 seconds now left on the channel. There's the taunt. Ragnaros on the squishy side, but they don't have enough heroes here. That's a full 5-man. It turns on Varian, and he is gone. Varian is dead. That's kill number 4. Things are starting to look extremely good now for Team Space. They lock in another kill. Gazlowe is eliminated. That means they're sitting at 5-1 kills in total. Still not had an experience. This is where we have consistently seen the Honkers do a bit better. But of course, you now have an easy shot at the objective. And this should be, yeah, this is going to be objective number 1. Tassadar actually follows up with the Sirenic Echo here. Has not gone into the Storm on level 1. Whereas Cassia now with a Grounding Rod on level 7. 50 stacks for Ragnaros, by the way. And now the Cavalry is going to jump in. So maybe the team in blue can even take a few of the structures out. For the Honkers, this doesn't make the situation any easier. They have to really now try and see what they can pull off here, as they are slowly trying to, of course, stabilize. So can you A, defend against the first objective? That should still be pretty easy, considering that it's a bit on the weaker side, hasn't really scaled all that well yet. But they have to also do better in these team fights. They won't have a chance if that's not a thing. Now, at least we're having the quest completed for Alex Straza. There's obviously nobody on the team that can properly capitalize on additional globes. The go-to comp for that is always her and Stitches, so that he gets a bigger hit point pool and just gets all of that insane survivability that allows him to sustain himself through a lot of late game fights. Decent defense in the middle. Down here at the bottom of the map, not too much damage done either. The wall has been broken through, but the fort has not taken too much. Yeah, but here come the level 10 abilities, and I have my eyes on Ragnaros. Hasn't made a choice yet. Sulfuras, yes or no? Is it the Lava Wave? Cloak of Shadows for Valeera. Level 10? No! The Gazlowe! No! That's another kill against him. Not having the best game here. They go for the boss at the bottom of the map though. Alright, so a little bit of a cheeky one. That means the mid lane's exposed and the blue team is trying to push there. So I like the general idea behind it. Ah, and there's Sulfuras. Ragnaros picks Sulfuras. I don't mind that they went for the boss. The problem that I have with it a bit is that they completely abandoned the middle of the map, so now they are losing a fort. I think they're gonna lose it. If not, then it's gonna be insanely low, and I don't think that that boss is gonna be able to do as much damage down at the bottom. Nice follow-up. Really cool move against Anu, but he survives with 40 hit points. I like the combo though. The stun and then the follow-up very quickly from Cassia. Now though the hits against Cassia, and she's still fine. Even with the salvo from Phoenix, they weren't able to take her down here. So the fort is still standing in the middle. They were able to hold on to it. Down at the bottom of the map, the boss broke through the wall. But as you can see here, Ragnaros comes in right away, drops his trade, and with that, they can defend against the boss with this. It's one of the cool things when you have Ragnaros, that you can slow objectives down as they're moving onto structures. So he pulls that off. Down, well, up at the top lane now. Still another push for the next wall. Obviously, Tacita also with Archon, which he could use in these fights. And the one thing that you always have to throw out there is, if you go grab a bomb, there are 100 games where grab a bomb doesn't do jack shit for you, and you're just sitting there, and you know, you try and throw them out, and you catch one, maybe you catch two, but there's no proper follow-up, so it doesn't really do as much for you. But every now and then you have this one glorious grabber bomb that hits like 4 people, and you have an insane amount of AoE follow-up, and everybody just explodes and dies. So whenever you see Gazlowe with a grabber bomb, which is really a whole lot honestly, but when it happens, there's the chance for that one glorious play, and I think that's one of the things that the Honkers are currently hoping for. Trying to delay the rotation towards the camp a bit as they're making their own push now for the objective. When we're looking at the damage numbers, by the way, 14,000 for Phoenix, 15 for Gazlowe. There's the attack, starting to move in. No grabber bomb yet, while Furin is down. That's the healer gone on the blue team side. Maybe now a chance for the Honkers to make their play, but Valeera wants the kill on Cassia and nearly gets it, but then it's Anubarak with a final hit. The taunt against him. He gets punished and goes down. Valeera also on the run, a little bit more AoE, is trying to dash away from this. 4 versus 3 on the map now in favor of the red team. So after they kill 2 heroes, 1 the healer of Team Space, they can now go for the objective and take that too. They have 2 transformations in these fights now with the Dragon Queen and Archon, and that obviously does a lot. The fort in the middle has fallen on the other hand. The camp was taken before the fight started. I already highlighted that the blue team did actually do well with their mercenary timings in game number 1. And here they did the same thing again and were able to take out a fort as a result, even though they're now losing the objective. It's level 13 versus level 13. Some extra damage done down at the bottom of the map, and it's now the Green Goblin is taking care of it. Valeera gets eliminated at the top by Alex Straza. A little bit of a cat fight over here. Meow. And yeah, maybe a fort in the cards now for the team, because the raiders are approaching, and that's the chance to get some serious damage in on this one. And down at the bottom of the map, they're going for Phoenix, and they're taking the kill. Sweet. Nicely done. That's 1 fort for sure. And up at the top, this one is going to be defended against, but here in the middle, another one will fall. So 2 forts taken out, and all of a sudden, the red team is ahead. Not only in experience, also in structures, still trailing in kills, but doing a fantastic job to try and bring this to a game number 3. Now obviously we're not there yet, but it's at least a decent start for them, and they're already planning the next move, going towards the top to try and take the boss here. All outside of the vision, if I saw that correctly, and just as I say that, they're coming back in. But Primordial King was already about to check. So they saw Valeera, they know what's going on here, and she's probably dead again. Is she? Oh! Love it! Awesome! There's the grabber bomb! And baby! There's the double kill! That was fantastic. The Valkyrie was great. I really like it. A fantastic trap. And then Gazlowe immediately realizes that he has a perfect opportunity to set up his own ult and get them some kills. And they take down Malfurion and Nubarak in that choke point. That was insanely well done. Love it. Immediate reaction. Fantastically done, not only by first Cassia, but then also Gazlowe. And as a result, they take 2 kills, they are taking the fort, and they move on to claim the boss. That was cool. That was really, really nice. So, good instincts on the red team. They get the early level 16. Could go for a double boss play if they wanted, but they are prioritizing the keep at the top. They are going to try and do some work here. I'm not sure how much they can do though. 12 minutes in, the boss isn't really that strong, but they are trying to break through. It's a 5 versus 4 fight though. So are they really going to fight this out? They're trying to make sure that the blue team doesn't attack the boss too early, but they are starting to fall back onto the map. So I think they could have moved down and taken the second boss. Seems like they're still interested in doing exactly that. I'm just not sure if they can do it, because I suppose that the blue team is going to try and contest them here. They're already on the way, so maybe a bit of a risky one to not go for the boss directly, and this fight could backfire. This is where all their efforts could now be negated by the blue team if they are winning the battle and take the boss away from them. So this is going to be a spicy one. Ults are back up. Valkyrie is already being used. Keep in mind, Grabber Bomb is ready. There's the double transformation. And immediately the cocoon on the Dragon Queen. They're burning it down though. We have Archon still for us with a big hit here. Where's the Grabber Bomb? Already used. They're trying to get the kill. The boss is about to be taken. The point contested. They're trying to get the damage in, and there's Alexstrasza. She's gone, and the red team is losing the fight. Cassia's gone, Valeera dies, now Varian is eliminated as well. From the back, Tacita with extra damage, but he dies too, and it's a 5-man team wipe as everybody gets eliminated on the side of the Honkers. The boss gets taken, and the only hero they could kill was Valeera. And just like that, they throw everything away that they fought for so hard. It was a great play up at the top. They got a boss. They should have moved down to the... either commit to the top lane push or move down to the bot lane immediately and take that boss, but they took too much time. They were too indecisive on what they wanted to do here. Then decided to go for the boss anyways, which was obviously super telegraphed, and as a result, we are seeing them wiped and the boss taken. And Team Space is taking the lead. Of course, they can also take the objective here. Nubarak just spawns a couple of beetles and can take the camp by himself. But down here, the keep is already getting attacked. So, Malfurion! Haha! And the old keys has gone. I gotta say that Jacqueline with Cassia is getting mad value out of Valkyrie. They keep the keep for now, but these Valkyrie plays are quite something. Good stun to stop them from preventing the objective from being claimed. The only one that hasn't died yet, by the way, is Ragnarok. And this is the second objective now for Team Space. So, 12 kills to 9. I mean, we're not... the keep at the bottom hasn't been destroyed yet. We're not quite a level 20 yet. But this is an interesting one for sure. The entire series has been actually fairly interesting, in game number 2 in particular. But now that we're 15 minutes in, how much damage can they do with the objective? So this one is already starting to move through the top lane for the next fort. They are at least going to get that. Gazlowe is dealing with the bot lane. Now, they're going to lose the keep anyways, I think. So he's moving back up to meet up with the rest of the team. Good choice. Ragnaros with his trade through the top, Molten Gore. And now, well, everyone on the red team is just on the run. Gazlowe's trying to defend the middle. They gave up on the bottom keep. Actually, they didn't. He's still trying to deal with it. I don't know why. They should just let this go. The keep is going to fall anyways. He can defend the middle though. And the core will easily absorb a single objective pushing onto it with 2 armor shields still in place. So, yeah. I mean, right now we have in the mid lane... hello, Valeera? I was about to say, Valeera being very alone and gets caught, but not killed. Got a little bit lucky there too, though. Yeah, Ragnaros with his ult, and that is the end of Gazlowe. Yeah, Gazlowe is gone. That's the problem. Now they're trying to get even more kills. Tassadar actually tried to kill Varian, if I saw that correctly. Did you just trap him with the rest of the team on the other side? It's like, either you need glasses, so your placement of these is a little bit better, or Varian somehow insulted Tassadar's mother earlier. Does Tassadar have a mother? I actually don't think that Protoss have mothers. They are despicable beings that need to be eradicated from the earth, as every Zerg player out there knows. So I don't think that they have parents. They're probably like cloned in the lab or something. That's the only, like it makes way more sense. Kind of forgot about the StarCraft lore over here, but this sounds perfectly right to me. Now, there's a lot of defending obviously going on right now. The blue team is pinning their opponents down heavily. One keep is already gone. And now, since we have Gazlowe out, the push towards the top lane boss was more or less inevitable. Red team is thinking about contesting this. I just don't know if they're going to arrive in time here. We get the Flames of Sulfuron on level 20. Twilight Archon, of course. And Valeera gets caught and killed. So Valeera goes down, she's eliminated. The boss is taken. And now the big question, A, can they defend against the boss? And B, can they maybe do a little bit in that 4 versus 5 situation to even the scales here? We have 13 to 10 kills. And damn, they're going to defend the boss. The boss at the bottom of the map is going to respawn in 30 seconds. There's still a little bit of time left. Gazlowe, now that he's back to business, is defending the bot lane. Up here, easily going to take this one out. It's not going to be a problem. We're going to pretend for a second that we didn't see the boss stun Varian heavily over here. But yeah, that happened. And now the prisoner camp coming up. The next objective could be pretty wild. I mean, both teams have now lost all of their forts. One keep has been destroyed, meaning the armor shields are going to be important here. But we have for now the next objective up. The boss spawning in a couple of seconds at the bottom of the map. So there's a couple of things now that can be done. And Valeera will be back in 1. So the window of opportunity here for the Honkers with a numbers advantage has been closed as well. 18 minutes in. And the blue team? That is an interesting play. So I guess the idea is to get the boss and go for core. I'm not so sure how smart of a choice that is. One armor shield removed on the core is not a whole lot. They don't have a ton of damage against the core directly. The boss alone is not going to cut it. That is quite the gamble that they're taking here. Okay, they're not pushing with it, they're just taking it. But the core can defend against the boss pretty much alone. So, yeah, taking that, fine. But giving up the objective for this would be a problem. There's the grabber bomb, and it connects with nothing. The cocoon on Gazlowe immediately. They're still trying to contest this. And it seems like we're going to see the boss take it. Nobody prevents it. The minions are actually shutting it down. But Anubarak and Malfurion are now both eliminated. Both have been destroyed here. And with a 5 versus 3, this is looking pretty darn good all of a sudden again for the red team. They're even sending Gazlowe back to deal with this. So, of course, again, the core is doing quite well here. Needs a bit of an assist. Objective is going to be taken in a few more seconds too. There we have it. So we're going to get more raiders on the map. And now the red team really needs to push this. Ragnaros still hasn't fallen, by the way, which is kind of impressive. Core is down to 50% HP as we have the boss about to be eliminated. So that one's gone. And they're going to be fine here. But with 13 kills to 13, it's just dead even. They're already pushing. They're already pushing against the 2 here. They really need to make sure that nobody dies. Specifically, their sustain needs to be alive. So Alex Straza can't die here. And now that they've broken through the wall, a keep is essentially guaranteed. Obviously, if you're on the red team, you would love a little bit more than that. Taking a second keep out and a second armor shield would really help your cause here.
and I suppose that's in the cards. Maybe even winning the game is an option. Ragnaros is trying his best to defend and slow things down, but his trade gets obliterated within seconds. Big choke point fight, big choke point damage. Nearly a kill against Valeera, but they're turning it on Cassia, and she's gone. Cassia is out, the keep destroyed. Big AoE once again as Tacita just unleashes on the blue team and is starting to take more of the heroes out. Topside keep also down. That's one armor shield on the core. And this is where things are starting to get really dangerous. There's a huge opportunity now for the Honkers to win the game and force the third map of the series, and the final map of the series, of course. But they're down here only with 4 players. So the attack is happening, core is low, and Ragnaros dies, and that should seal it. They have even another raider at the bot lane, still pressing for the final keep. They could be eliminated too, but that's not even needed anymore. 14 kills to 16. The core goes down, and that is game as Team Space loses the second map, and the Savage Honkers are able to push for the final map of the series. GG.
The final map, game number 3. On the left, Team Space in blue. After they just lost an Alterac pass, now with Amphora on Lunara. We got Primordial King with Arthurs. Yes, with a bit of a silence these days after the last upgrade. Now we got Fox playing Tyrande. We got Echo on Illidan and Quibi on Zagara. And if you really paid attention to the two teams, then you already noticed that we actually have Tyrande on both sides. Now I can talk about that in a moment as well, but I already highlighted, of course, how the drafts are coming to pass with the RNG factor here. We have Jacqueline with an actual multi-shot build now on Vala for the red team. Parkwash on Stitches. Lemons on Deathwing. We got Katia on Tyrande. And Twisties on Nazebo. So, with all of those, for each role that you have, for each slot on the team, you have a wheel where an RNG factor determines the hero to be played. And that, again, heavily impacts what kind of drafts we're seeing here. And in this case, obviously, we have some wild ones for sure. I mean, Tyrande has appeared on both sides, which is kind of cool as well. You don't really see a whole lot of tournament formats these days where you have the potential to have the same hero on each side. And it kind of makes things a little bit interesting, just because it's such a rarity. If it was a common occurrence, then that would be a bit more on the boring end. But now we... a hook it! No way! The hook from Stitches straight into the zombie wall. That was insane. Check this one out. Like, Stitches with that hook after the zombie wall appears. I mean, the combo is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Normally when you're thinking about combos, you're thinking about Tyrande stun coming through when Stitches throws out the hook, but in this case they actually pulled it off with the zombie wall, and it was absolutely spectacular. They caught 2, they killed one of them, and that opens up game number 3 for the Honkers. So if they now, after the first map, are able to just come in here and get a bit more momentum and maybe take the entire series, it would be amazing. But that little play, glorious. Absolutely glorious. Love it. Now, Illidan is already doing his thing up at the top, so he is definitely... He's a little bit of a jittery one. Definitely too many energy drinks in his life. That's Illidan for you. Went on level 1 straight into the Battered Assault. We have blue team's Tyrande with the True Shot aura. So already a difference in build here, as Katia is instead gone for Ranger on level 1, so kind of different approaches for them. Vala with 7 multi-shot hits here already. And again, you can get actually a whole lot out of multi-shot too if you have a lot of fights where everybody is still clustered up. Now, we have seen essentially all of the builds on Vala just recently. I mean, in this series alone, it's not only a multi-shot build, but in game number 1 we had an arrow build, so only the auto attack is missing. Arthur's with more of a damage-focused approach now that he goes into the icy talons over here, so a bit of a mix for him. And as he is still the main tank for the team, it's kind of interesting because he's going way more into a brawler stance than a sustain build, at least right now. And we'll see how that works out for him later. They have to try and help with Illidan out a bit too, and Illidan can be a menace. Once that we are in the late game, he's going to be tough to pin down. There's not a lot of hard stuns over on the side of the Honkers. There's some, don't get me wrong, and Tyrande's going to help a little bit,
but still, if Illidan is unleashing his full potential here, the late game is going to be a bit tough. You get potentially Rain of Vengeance from Vala, you have the stun and the Hunter's Mark from Tyrande. Besides that, there's not really a whole lot going on here. I mean, Deathwing, yes, to an extent, but it's not the same as being able to chain proper single target stuns multiple times in order to lock him down here. So this could become problematic as the game continues. Early game, not so much worried about that, but late game, oh my god, the heals, nice! Nazebo looked like he would fall for sure, but they keep him alive. Good job by Cardio and Tyrande here. So yeah, nicely done, and Vala just zipping around, nearly completing the quest on level 1 now. As they're also trying to, of course, control the lane, get some of the shots fired. It's kind of funny that at the top they're not even going for the exchange. Echo against Lemons is now the 1v1 that's going to decide what's happening up here. Nobody else is rotating up, so it seems like nothing's going to be taken. Good zombie wall again! And a kill. Tyrande against Tyrande action. I would watch that movie, just saying. And we have the blue team without a healer now. Primordial King in a corner. He's not gonna get out of this. Finds himself on the wrong side of a team fight and gets killed too. That's the 3rd kill now for the red team. And this is going to give them quite a bit of control. At the top, at the end of the day, what happened is an even exchange in altars after all, but the additional 1 goes to the red team, so they claim it. They have a lead in experience now as well. We got the Hot Pursuit for Vala, we're getting Purification for Stitches, and the attempt to get a few more pumpkins in. As of course, after Icy Talons, a logical talent to take is Rune Tap here for some extra sustain. So really going into the brawl heavy style. We're talking about the different approaches now, Tyrande players. Also, just to follow up with Trucial Aura level 1, we now have the Mark of Mending, and on level 7, Huntress Fury comes in next. Whereas on the red team side, we already talked about Ranger earlier as a level 1 choice, followed up by Loon's Chosen and then the Moonlit Arrow. So a little bit more of a traditional build that we're seeing here. Spider build for Nazebo with the stacks nearly completed on level 1. Working, of course, also to the potential Vile Infection, which could be a game changer in the late game. And most of the games that we're seeing on Towers of Doom go into the later stages. So again, the attempted combo with Stitch's hook into a zombie wall. I like that they're actually pulling it off the way that they do. That was a... They like the combos. They're really trying to coordinate a lot of the attacks here. And that is so far working for them. But of course, still the Illidan factor. Illidan, if you don't keep him under control, you can get absolutely murdered later on. I mean, there's a couple of heroes that really scale well into the late game. I talked about Nazebo just a second ago, so that would be the counterbalance for them too. And you have also, on this map, Deathwing being mega annoying whenever you're trying to go for a channel, so Lemons could delay any kind of altar grab for a long time if needed. Level 10 abilities are not too far off as we're going into the next fight. And so far, it's only a single altar in the middle of the map that the two teams are fighting for. Arthas is sitting at 15 stacks now on his level 1. He's going to try and get a bit more damage in here. And Illidan has already joined the fun. Gets immediately hit by the zombie wall though. Arthas does, actually. Illidan is still chasing and he is just going for the typical Illidan play. Goes way too deep, gets killed, and Bambi gets murdered a moment later as we have the Ravenous Spirit locking in a 3rd kill for the Honkers. Guys, the Honkers, they were struggling in game number 1. Game number 2, they slowly brought it back, and despite the fact that they kind of threw a little bit at that bottom boss, they were able to win the map. And now they brought all of the momentum into game number 3 and have a 6-0 kill lead. Getting, of course, the ult there in the last fight helped them a lot too to secure themselves some additional victims. But now the wall gets opened up. Bit of damage potentially here too. Level 10 for Team Space, and oh my god, really? Syndragosa as well. I mean, I've been talking about Arthas going a bit more for brawl-heavy damage style, but I did still expect him to at least go for the army to have a bit more sustainability as the main tank of the team. And that's not happening. So Arthas pays the price for that immediately as he dies. But Illidan with a nice combo kill together with Lunara comes in with a hunt and gets it. And now they're going for Tyrande. Vala has died first, Tyrande second. And that's 7 kills to 2 now. So the blue team with some signs of life at least. coming in and making their moves to try and bring this back. Still a level behind, don't get me wrong, but they're making at least a couple of plays. On the damage numbers, we have Arthurs with 19,000 damage. Zagara is a close second on the blue team. 29,000 though for Vala, so that multi-shot build is really working out for her. Also having some okay numbers in siege damage. Nothing too crazy when you compare it to what, let's say, Zebo or, for example, Deathwing are currently pulling off over here. Level 13 talents are soon going to get picked by the red team. Arthur's again always trying to just force some of these fights as he comes in with a Howling Blast. But there is a Stitches Hook on the horizon. Yeah, a little bit of a curveball over here, acting like he's going for Arthur's and then trying to get some of the rest of the team. 100 stacks now from the Zebo. 13 levels in on 100 stacks. I mean, honestly, he should get the threshold for Violent Infection to level 20 100%. It would shock me if he did. The only thing that I don't want to see is an upgrade of this word. Nice attempt with the trap again, and damn, look at these. Really well done. Can't get the kill, but those plays are so dangerous for the blue team. And now they are focusing on Arthur's again. He dies. The double Mordo. Maybe the turnaround attempt. Nice block, and down goes Vala. Illidan is becoming more and more dangerous here, and of course the blue team also benefits from the fact that Deathwing was still at the top lane and didn't join his teammates down at the bottom. But Illidan will become a problem. As the game continues and Illidan becomes stronger, as we're all scaling, as distance to safety gets increased, this is going to be an issue. There's a lot of squishies here, but he will need that heal. He's able to move back out, and of course Nezebo is getting a lot of damage in. When those spiders connect, that's a problem. When Wild Infection is available, it's going to be even more of an issue. One altar up, teams. Red team is slightly ahead in points on the core, and they're going to get this one as well, aren't they? The interrupt attempt is happening, but it's too late, and the shots are being fired. The hook against Illidan. The stun is there. Echo makes it out, but has to retreat without doing any further damage. The blue team is now down to 24 points on the core. Stitches gets attacked. Ooh, it's not looking good for him. Parkwash is getting dropped. That's the end of the tank. Illidan is coming back in as they're realizing, hey, we might be able to get a bit more out of this fight. But they gotta retreat again. The Zebo at 120 stacks already. Yeah, he's gonna get the threshold for Vial Infection. 100%. Oh, more against Tyrande. I don't think they can get a kill here, can they? Nah. Good damage, but it's not enough. They have to be careful that they're not gonna get taken out by the tower. Illidan was a bit too close, and after the spiders connected with him, the towers also landed 2 shots, and that was nearly the end of Illidan. So careful, my friend. We have now 4 kills to 8, still that 1 level lead for the Honkers, and they're now moving over to get the pumpkins. And yeah, they get their camp. I guess it's an even split. Nobody's making any too aggressive attempts to go for the opponent's camp here. Zagara is trying to catch up with Vala, who's at 39,000. Illidan sitting at the top. I would actually love him to go for even more stacking here. Talking stacking, Arthur's, he had the top damage earlier, but he's still sitting at a solid 26,000 damage. The problem is that he just doesn't have any sustainability. You have on the one side Stitches, who's easily tanking those shots, and Arthur's just doesn't, so Arthur's dies, and then the backline is fully opened up. They can go for Tyrande and do that immediately, so Tyrande is getting killed. That's level 16 on the board now for the Honkers, and they convert the bell tower at the bottom left. They're looking really, really good now. And Arthur's survivability is a problem with this. Him going for Syndragosa here, not for the army, specifically with the build that he already chose to begin with, is making him very squishy. Now, if they can dominate the fight and really set the pace of it, they might be able to do something and just roll over the opponent, but currently they're suffering, and they're down to 14 points on the core against 36 that we're seeing for the opponent's team. Hook, Rain of Vengeance, they're all missing as they try to go for Lunara. Couldn't get the kill here. Vala's now at 43 stacks, Arthur's at 22, and the Zebo is happily stacking away. And he's doing well. Syndragosa comes in, but why? Damn, they're really pushing underneath that bell tower. We don't have the entire team here, so that surprises me a little bit. So Syndragosa being used, it didn't do a lot for them. more as well. That didn't connect with anybody. Stitches, though, gets attacked, but nice follow-ups. Damn. They're always there. The sync on the team is really nice. A couple of stuns to keep Arthas at bay, and then even a zombie wall to ensure that he can't follow up with Stitches and take him down. And that puts even more pressure on Primordial King, which nearly kills him too. He went full on damage with him now going Frost Strike and also Frostmourne feats. So definitely brawling it up. They have to hope for Illidan in the late game, but considering how well Nazebo is doing, he's going to get like great damage once he has Vala Infection. Vala dying here though, that's a good first step for Team Space to reconvert that belt tower. Illidan comes in, and now they gotta run. Now it's a problem. So with Illidan starting to chase them here, he needs to be a little bit careful with the bell tower aggro. That's a problem too. Ice blocking the stun from Illidan, and then it's a kill on Arthas. Twisties with some sexy plays, and even Lunara is gone, and there's the helping hand. Holy hell, baby. I love the team play that we're seeing from the Honkers here. And Nazebo with an absolute boss play. First, he ice blocks the stun as the hunt comes in, then he turns on Arthas, kills him, and is even able to lock in another kill against Lunara. So big damage. They get one of the altars already, couple of interrupts, and oh my god! Duranda! Look at that! Kali coming in together with Stitches. The more hits both of them, but it's already a double kill against Duranda and Zagara. Big plays over here. They want to go for another one. Echo dies too. We're playing Farmville, baby. It's a farming simulator over here as they're absolutely destroying it. 15 kills to 5. Only 6 points left on the core of the blue team. And these are some sexy plays that we are getting over here. Damn. And some really nice solo moves too. We have 6 deaths on Arthas. Let's highlight that first. We have currently no deaths on either Deathwing or Nazebo, with 61,000 now, the top damage dealer in the game. Easily. To get another bell tower conversion at the bottom of the map. I mean, technically there's still a boss up that he could take too. Level 20 is in, and there it is. We get the Vile Infection. He's 3 stacks short. Because of all of the kills, they accelerated their experience gain a little bit. But he's going to easily pick that up now in the middle of the map, and then Nazebo's damage is going to explode even further. Vala, with the 50 shots that she already has, the 50 stacks, is now going to Farflight Quiver, and they are dominant here. 2 levels ahead. That's a huge window with level 20 advantage that they can use in order to make some moves. Blue team is, of course, trying to recover at the bottom of the map and get that bell tower back. Syndragosa is going to be used to that end, and they are going to grab it. But unless Illidan is able to pop off here, they are in so much trouble. They're going to try, but this is difficult. With Nazebo just being Nazebo at level 20 and them having the Storm Talon advantage, there is little that the blue team can do. They have to gamble a little bit on this. They got to throw a Hail Mary and, yeah, take something down. 1 boss plus altar is the end of the game in favor of the Honkers. A 2-1 win for them is in the cards now. It is, on the other hand, Towers of Doom. Towers of Doom is the comeback map, but it's going to be a difficult comeback from here on out. With a hook against Zagara and her dying, it seems like this is going to be the end of things. This seems unwinnable. Tyrande falls too. Big damage from Twisties over here with Nazebo. Stacks completed, damage exploding. They get a kill on Arthas as well, so that's a triple. Illidan is trying to solo things. He gets eliminated. And that is game. 19 kills to 5. Stitches goes for the channel. So does Deathwing. And that's all she wrote. After they were down 0-1 in this series, the Savage Honkers are able to take on Team Space in Group A of the Spin 2 Win Cup. Nicely done. GG and well played.